Yeah, I do feel optimistic because of the guys that are coming back. I mean, we graduated two very key players that we graduated, but a lot of the other either starters or key contributors off the bench are coming back. And it's not as if we're going to try to change our offense and defense. It's going to be the same system. So hopefully that will be an easier way of there's just very little adjustment for our players, other than the new guys, the incoming freshmen. Well, they all understand the system, and it's interesting because they all have different, like a gift mix. Of course, our starting point guard is going to be Justice Rice, and this will be his fourth year starting. And he knows the offense and the defense like the back of his hand, and he's also been a two-year captain. And then his sidekick at the two guard is Eric Miners. And Eric came off the bench last year, but will be fighting for a starting spot this year. And one of those rags to riches type of scenarios where he wasn't even recruited coming out of high school, didn't even start for his high school team, but tried out, lo and behold made the team, and then just rose through the ranks to the point where last year as a junior, he was really our backup at the two, and right now he may start. And then the other guys are threes, fours, and fives, which they're all power forwards, although they again have a different gift mix. Joey Miola, who started last year, Joey wins basketballs. I mean, he has his hand in the pot in everything. Just a great defender, and we call him Spider-Man just because of his length and his ability to get touches on defensive basketballs. But then also we have Connor Martin, who was a backup at the four, and then also Chris McCrell. And those guys will either be starting this year or playing the same role as backups, but with a little bit more time. And all of those guys just understand the system. They bought into it, and thankfully they're teaching the younger guys. And that's what I've been really impressed with those seniors, is that with the new guys, and again, it's probably very different from what they did in high school, and so there's a very steep learning curve for them, and they've been able to teach those young guys, and that has been a real blessing, and I'm just very proud of them that way. Yeah, Ben Rose is another point guard. He was actually like a backup at the two last year, but he's going to play the point, and he is really good in the open court, and a really good inside player. He may be one of our best post players as the point guard. And then Isaac Thrasher, who had spot duty last year, and Thrash he's going to be fighting for a starting role this year, but just a deadly shooter. He's in great shape, and one of those players that he's made himself a college athlete, and he understands almost as well as the seniors. He just understands the system, understands the culture, and is one of those guys that can teach it to the younger guys. He's also our team chaplain. Josh Brown will be our center. We really don't have a center. I mean, the threes, fours, and fives are all about the same type of player. They're all power forwards. And he's also one of our captains. And so he'll be contributing in that respect. Josh Bryan, he did a great job of coming off the bench last year, and he's like that quintessential like athletic build for us. He's just long, lean, lanky, a very good defender, and then as the season progressed, he got a little bit more confidence with his offense and was able to score, especially in the inside. Luka Robinson, we're also going to be, he'll be a factor at the guard spot. He is as strong as they come, and missed last year due to an injury. So he's actually going to be, he's a sophomore with regard to his class, but eligibility is a freshman. One kid in particular, and that's Elijah White, who, well, just a little background on Elijah. Last year, we saw him play as a senior. I was really impressed with him, his athleticism, but he was very raw, very raw. So we promised him a spot on the team, and his first foray was a JV game up at Pitt Titusville, and he did not do very well. I'll just say that. Did not know the offense, did not know the defense, and we just knew that he was well behind our other players in terms of understanding the game. So fast forward that maybe 5 weeks, and Elijah going from a player who could barely play in a JV game to someone who was backing up a starter on the varsity. I mean, his learning curve was that steep, to the point where by the end of the season, he's scoring on All-Americans in our NCAA game. So he's one of those guys that has been a really pleasant surprise. He put on another inch, so he's 6'7", and another 20 pounds. So he's just going to be, he's a different player and playing with a lot of confidence. So he's going to be a significant contributor for us this year. Yeah, and one of the new guys, his name is Aaron Good, and he's a transfer, so he's actually a sophomore, and has made a really an impressive showing in practices. Very enthusiastic, and it's infectious, and so that has been a nice contributing factor to our intensity in practice. So we think that he'll get some playing time this year. But also the young guys, it's a difficult year for them to break into the lineup just because of our seniors, because they've been around and they just know the system better. And we're hoping that some of these freshmen this year will maybe able to break the lineup with a couple minutes here or there. But we have all the positions filled, from the point guard position through a couple two guards, and then the 3, 4, 5s, which we all just talked. We say that they're power forwards. Yeah, I mean, last year we thought that there was a lot of parity, and there was, and I think that this year is going to be the same way. That there's no team, if you just look at them on paper, they're just going to run with it. I mean, some teams have more seniors than others, but what's interesting is that we're an outlier in how we play. I mean, we have a unique system, a unique offense and defense. So I think that gives us I don't know if it's an advantage, but again, with that outlier, people have to prepare for us a little bit differently. So that may give us an edge. But in terms of the talent in the league, I think it's dispersed among all 10 teams. And it's an old cliche. I'm sure I've said this the last 10 years of coaching here, but it is like every night is going to be a battle. And more so now than maybe in the last couple of years, because of the parity of the talent that's in the league. Honestly, it comes down to the mission. And the mission is that we want to compete for a championship in a culture of accountability and love, and we want to play to a standard. So those are things. If we play to the standard, we'll be fine. And if we don't, then we're going to have our issues. But we're a process-driven team, and so we don't even talk about winning. We don't talk about losing. We just talk about the process. And then that allows our players to play free. So we're just going to demand the standard. Our guys are going to demand it of themselves. There's accountability. And so all of those things, I think, give us a chance. I mean, we'll have a chance if we play to our standard.